Hi, I'm Katie with Managing the Mess. I know that you clicked on this video because you want to save time, so let's get down to it. In this video, I'm going to give you 10 more time-saving tips for art teachers. Stick around and watch to the end because I'm going to be adding a special bonus tip, which is my best tip yet that I'll save till the end. Make sure you're using the time that you do have. I highly recommend having some prep jobs set out along with the tools that you'll need to complete them. Then throughout your day, whenever you find a minute, maybe a class is running a few minutes late because they're finishing testing, jump in and see how many you can complete. Maybe you've given your lesson to students and they've already started working quietly and you have a minute. Get a few more done before you make another lap around the room. I'm always surprised at how much I get done by the end of the day because the tools and materials are here. It takes away the resistance of me thinking I don't quite have time to start a project because I've already got a project going. It's just a matter of moving through that project. For this next tip, I'm going to be pulling you into my storage closet so that you can see my paper. What I highly suggest is choosing a couple different sizes of paper, prepping that ahead of time in every color of the rainbow, and then sticking with those sizes for all of your projects. So if you find something on Instagram, if you find something on Pinterest, you can do it, but you have to go back to those sizes. So the sizes that I use are 12 by 12. I prep that in all the colors of the rainbow. I also take all my construction paper that you see back there in every color, cut that in half, and put it inside of a paper box. Inside of the paper box, I have a box from IKEA. These are magazine holders, so they're just kind of the cheapy cardboard, and this divides up the paper for students, but I can pull this out for any project that I need throughout the school year. When I'm cutting paper, I'm always saving the strips. So if it's 2-inch strips or 1-inch strips, and I'm storing that by color for when we get to the younger students in their paper weaving unit. So this way, these are already ready to go. Now you might be wondering, what do I do with these things in the summer? In the summer, I will cover them, or even when we're kind of in the off season of weaving, I will cover those things up and I will have a trash bag around those so they don't get dusty, they don't get faded, and they're ready to go for the next school year. Any of my pattern paper, so we're talking things from Michael's in the scrapbook section that I might use for clothes, for people collages, I always cut it into a size that it fits into this little shoebox and then put those out for students to use. For my skin color paper, I prep 2 different sizes. So every color of skin color paper I have, I prep a smaller rectangle that we will go on and use for the head when we're making people collages, and a larger size rectangle. And then when I'm making these little baggies that you saw me pull out there, I am putting 4 rectangles. So one is for the body, one is for the arms and legs, and I prep that by putting those in little Ziploc baggies, and then they are ready to go. Now, the color that I'm showing you right here is the tan from True Ray, and I've read, I don't know if this is a rumor because I haven't seen it yet, but they've changed that color to almond. So if you're looking for that color for skin colors for your students from that True Ray construction paper, look for almond. For my scrap box that teachers always have within an art room, how I organize it is I have 2 of these milk crates, and then inside again, file folders. And the file folders have a little piece of paper kind of laminated and stapled inside of there kind of as my divider. And students will keep this in rainbow order and then just slide through and open up and grab out the pieces as needed for projects. We all love saving time, but what if I told you you could save an entire week? I'm doing it right now, and I do it every quarter. What it is Ketchup and Pickle Day. So I do this each day for the last week of the quarter. This allows me to get everything graded from students before I even get to those teacher work days. So a student is a catch-up if they were absent or some reason they were working a little bit more slowly and carefully and they need time to finish. I will seat my catch-up students near the front of the room during this time, and I will work closely with them. As soon as they are finishing something, I'm putting those grades in so that things are complete and I am ready by the time that they walk out the door to press send, that all my progress reports for that class are finished. Now, students that are pickles, or when they're finished with that catch-up work, they turn into a pickle. Pickles get to pick and choose what they want to do. Now, I have centers set up throughout my room. This is when I pull out my Legos and my magnet tiles. It's when I give students lots of different choices. So they really enjoy this time. They can sit wherever they choose, and they work hard to avoid being a catch-up because they enjoy this day so much. I'm very lucky that I have a lot of counter space in my room, so I set out many, many different choices there, and students get to bring their chosen activity to wherever they'd like to sit and work on it. Now, what is wonderful about this is my progress reports are done while students are in my class. I'm also not planning new lessons because each and every class is ketchuping and pickling throughout the week. So I'm able to use my planning time to focus on what comes next. What do I need to do to get ready for the next quarter? What things do I need to clean up? What materials are we done with? What things need to be ordered? I'm able to be very flexible then with my planning time as I'm not setting up things over and over and over and doing the rat race of life as an art teacher. Now, a big advantage of working on the progress reports on Ketchup and Pickle Day is that the students are there in your room. You can ask students questions and get information about maybe why they're missing so many projects. Were they on a trip? Were they absent? You can get a lot of information that way from students without having to pull them out of class. It's also a good way for you not to make mistakes and mix different students up. We teach an immense amount of students, so it's nice to have them right in front of you as you're putting in grades to kind of look up and make sure that you are thinking about the correct student and that you are getting very accurate information into those progress reports. Now, you may be wondering about how this ties into my class incentives. I have a whole class incentive where my classes earn a golden paintbrush for their behavior. I also have second place, which is a silver paintbrush. If they don't earn either of these, the class takes nothing back to their teacher. Now, this is simply a communication method between me and the classroom teachers. I also, in addition to the paintbrushes, send a note to the classroom teacher each and every week. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, I do speak about that in my video about lining up. Be sure to watch that next. Now, regardless of what paintbrush the class earns, they get the Ketchup and the Pickle week. So I'm not doing a popcorn party. I'm not doing any kind of special thing. This is the thing. And every class, regardless of behavior, does this the very last week of the quarter. I definitely reinforce to students that the classes that are always getting those golden brushes, they have more students that get to pick. They have more free time. If in their classes, I am going over rules every week, I'm really having to stop and they're getting lots of silver brushes or they're even losing their paintbrush, they will end up with a lot more work that they need to catch up on when we get to this day, allowing for less free time. So they really do work together to try their very best to get that golden paintbrush, knowing that that reward is coming. Now, I really like this system because in a class, even a most difficult class, you have students that are trying their best and really do deserve this kind of day off and this freedom to choose what kind of art projects they would like. So I've found it to be a wonderful reward in my classroom, and I've had a lot of success with it. As art teachers, we are constantly putting up artwork and taking it down. So get yourself together a little hallway kit to make life easier. What I always have is my trusty stapler and a little paint cup. So I think I got this one at the $1.25 tree, but you could also find this at Lowe's. And what's nice about it is just gets held in one hand, and then you can use your trusty little staple remover, remove the staples, and then dump them right into the cup. So you have your own little personal trash can that you bring around with you in the hallway. Inside the cup, I also keep things to repair any artwork where things have fallen down, such as a glue stick. I keep extra staples, so I don't have to go back to my room for those if I run out of staples. I keep scissors if I need to trim something down, and I also keep binder clips so that if I am taking down artwork, I can organize it and sort it by classroom teacher and then go about returning it. Often if I've done something with buttons recently or wiggle eyes, I'll throw some of those in there so I can do repairs as needed on the go. Now you've got your cup. A nice thing to also have is a little step stool like this on wheels, and away you go. Consider using table folders. So I clip these together ahead of time. All this is a regular piece of construction paper that I've sent through the laminator and then folded in half. I don't label these by class, I just use them as needed. When I'm ready for students to use these, I simply set one down on each table and have the students put their planning sheets inside. Once they're all there, I take a clip and clip these together, and then I store them in their grade level drawer so that I have them for next week. My favorite part is the next week, I'm not sitting there calling out names and passing out papers. I simply just unclip them, set them back out on the tables, and students can open them up. And between the 4 people at the table, they can find theirs and get started right away. Store tools where you need them. I, of course, have a stapler and tape at my desk, but I also find a lot of times I'm standing here and I'm doing work. So at this station here, I've got clips to clip together student artwork and table folders. I've got another stapler that always stays right here. I've got another tape dispenser. I've got writing utensils, so if I am filling out the report to the teacher, I don't have to walk all the way back to my desk to get those things. I've got another pair of scissors. As teachers, you're probably going to need a couple different adult pairs of scissors in different stations throughout the room. I have these at my desk. I have them here at my standing desk. I have these in my cup that goes with me in the hallway when I go around to display things. I also have a pair in my storage room for when I need them there. And if nobody asked, but this is a most amazing pair of scissors from Fiskars. Your hands really don't get tired when you use these. I think I got them at Michael's, but definitely something worth checking out. Other spots throughout my room where I set things up and put tools where I need them is next to my desk. I have a little rolling cart, and on that cart, I always keep my plan book. Underneath it, I have my tissues, my hand sanitizer, things that I would need that are personal, that are just for me, so they're not out where students can kind of grab and access them. In my kiln room, I have a little broom hanging up there right next to my kiln, so if something explodes, I'm able to sweep and clean that up. In my closet, next to my paper cutter, I have another recycling bin right there. I also have teacher tools such as rulers and pencils, my spare pair of scissors and tape and paper clips there, so that I'm not having to go back and forth throughout my room. The tools that I need for the jobs that I'm doing over and over are already there and ready to go. Now, this next tip is going to sound a little bit silly, but get yourself a red stapler. That's right. I cannot tell you how many people have commented on this over the years. You have a student that needs to borrow your stapler. You have another teacher that comes in and interrupts. Hey, can I borrow your stapler for a second? You send them to your desk and you're like, yeah, it's on my desk and it's red. And guess what? They can actually find it. No matter what state of disarray that your teacher work area is in, they can find something that's red because it's very eye-catching, and you don't have to stop what you're doing to help them. It also helps you to find it within the piles of paper on your desk. Now, another tip that goes along with this is try to always keep things in the exact same place so that you know where to find them. This works great with your classroom keys, always keeping them, for me, in the same little pouch that's connected to a little wagon that I bring with me to school. But I also always keep my staplers and my tape in the exact same spot, return them to those locations so that when I need them, I know where to find them. When others come and ask to borrow those items, it's easy for me to not have to stop what I'm doing, but tell them just, hey, it's right there, and I know that it's there. Save yourself some time by wearing rubber gloves. Get yourself a cute little pair of gloves and actually wear them when you're doing messy tasks inside of your art room. I use them when I'm touching chemicals and cleaning off tables. I also use them anytime I'm assisting students with a messy project that needs to go to the drying rack. I use these when I'm cleaning up printmaking tools and putting them away. And I use them anytime my hands are in the sink, washing paintbrushes, water cups, or other tools. What's so great about this is, art teacher life. I go from doing one messy task to voila, my hands are clean. I can touch my laptop, get things set up for my next class that's already walking in. This avoids you washing your hands a million times a day and getting the dreaded chapped art teacher hands. It protects your manicure and keeps it looking nice and fresh. You know that if you use your hands and you're touching all these different materials, that you will end up with the dreaded art teacher hands, where your hands are different colors, revealing to the entire world, everywhere you go, that you're an art teacher. I literally picked up one marker right before I took this video, and I've already got colorful hands. If you have the freedom to structure your lessons as you choose, make sure you set up a structure that works to save you time. This is what I do. In the very first quarter of the school year, I focus in on drawing projects and I move on to collage. That way, there is minimal cleanup. I've got some situations where students are able to engage with different materials, but I'm not getting into the mess until I've gotten those routines and those structures set in place. Now, what I'm doing in the first quarter, since I have a little more time, since I'm not washing paintbrushes and such, is that I am setting up my labels for student artwork. Now, I shared about this in my first video about 10 time-saving tips for teachers. If you haven't seen that yet, make sure you check out that video. Now, I spend a lot of time getting these labels ready, and by doing the drawing projects and the collage, it gives me a chance to spend time focusing in on that. And then in the second quarter, I will move on to painting and printmaking. When I get into the third quarter, I will continue on with sculpture and clay. So my messy parts of the school year are in the very middle of the school year. And then when I move to the fourth quarter, I am focused in on weaving and sewing and any maybe simple drawing projects and things, maybe another collage project. So I'm bringing the level of mess down considerably. I've also got the weaving and the sewing, which is very high student engagement at the very end of the school year when things tend to kind of go downhill with behavior. That's set in there. Now, I have less cleanup then in the fourth quarter because we're primarily using just paper and yarn. So during that time, that's when I'm prepping things for the next school year. That's when I'm planning out what things went well. What do I want to do next? That's when I'm cleaning and packing up my classroom. So set up a structure that works for you, but be thinking about how you can save time. My last tip is give yourself permission to do less. Many times we're just focused on getting ahead and doing more. We set incredibly high standards for ourselves and the work that we do, and oftentimes some of these things go unnoticed by others. So what are the things that you can let go? How can you better take care of you so that you can use your time more efficiently and be a happier art teacher? I saved the very best tip for last, and that is only if you are serious about wanting to improve your classroom management and save time as an elementary art teacher. You will subscribe to Managing the Mess. I post videos like this every single week to make your job easier. Managing the Mess Mondays. Check out some of my other videos.